I came to LA 13 years ago. I ended up here by chance, and the longer that I've lived in LA, the more LA I've become.
Meet Shekinah. She's a glamorous 41-year-old mother of one who's living the high life in LA. She's surrounded by friends, family, and all the best things that money could buy. But you might be surprised to hear that Cali girl twang and those looks might be deceiving, because Shekinah was actually raised Amish.
I feel like this was such an extreme that I wanted to go to the opposite extreme and be as glamorous as possible.
Her background and her childhood hint at the fact that there's a lot more than meets the eye with her. And that is especially true when it comes to her love life, because Shekinah's looking for true love, her ride or die partner. Only up until now, her search hasn't exactly gone too well.
I just had a series of toxic relationships. I was starting to think that maybe I would never find the right person for me. And that's when I met Sarper.
So while Shekinah is vacationing in Turkey with her friend, she decides that she wants to do something beyond the typical touristy stuff. And no, I know what you're thinking, but it's not cheap cosmetic surgery. No, she wants to sample Turkish men. Although, who knows, she may have also had some cosmetic work done. I mean, she wouldn't be the first.
We're in Turkey. Here on an inner and outward transformation together. Bye-bye, old teeth. I'm talking funny right now.
But after downloading a dating app and making a few swipes, someone caught her eye. Not just anyone. A model, personal trainer, and self-confessed bad boy. A man named Sarper.
I love to expose my body, you know? So being sexy on cameras or photo shootouts, I like it.
Now, Sarper seems to think that he's prime Hugh Hefner in a 43-year-old personal trainer physique. He's pretty obsessed with himself, to put it lightly. And he's also a womanizer, and not ashamed of it. In fact, the number of women he's slept with seems to come up in conversation a lot.
Ne kadar sen kaç kadınla beraber oldun?
2500'ü bulmuşuzdur.
Ve şimdi
Evet,
bundan sonra
bırakıyorum
tek
abi.
bir kadınla
Hiçbiriyle tek
yaşayacağız.
ile yaşayacağım.
Okay, so while it might be a bit early to call Sarper a complete egomaniac, he admits it all by himself. He's totally obsessed with his looks. And as if the freshly waxed eyebrows, the bare chest and all that bling isn't enough evidence, then how about the fact that he wore makeup on his first date with Shekinah? Yeah, that's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. The kind of guy that spends probably half his life in front of a mirror.
You know how people usually say, like, you had me at hello? Sarper had me at highlighter. He was wearing a highlighter on our first date.
Now, I don't know whether the blinding light from his shimmering highlighter went to her head or something, but here we are, 5 months later, and she's planning to move to Turkey to be with him. It's a little hasty, right? I mean, she's uprooting her life, leaving behind her business, leaving behind her daughter, who apparently goes to boarding school, and off she'll set to be with her Turkish bad boy. She's convinced that she's going to be the one that tames him. She's sure that she'll get her fairy tale ending.
My attraction and connection with Sarper is so strong that I am willing to leave this entire life that I've built in Los Angeles to go and be with him.
But while Shekinah recounts the tale of their long-distance relationship and their first few meetings with rose-tinted spectacles, Sarper's side of the story is a little more seedy. As he talks about their second date, he casually mentions the fact that earlier that day, before meeting up with Shekinah, he'd slept with not one, but 2 women. And I'm starting to feel pretty icky about the whole thing. I really hope Shekinah's got tested.
I was with 2 women that day, and I was so exhausted, and also I was sick. So I tried to cancel the meeting with her.
Sarper wears his conquests like a badge of honour. He sees his astonishing body count as making him more of a man. But it begs the question, given that this is so fundamental to his identity, how exactly does he expect to shapeshift into a fully committed partner for Shekinah?
Hayattan sonra böyle hareketli bir hayatın sonunda.
İstemiyor canım da o hayat. Son zamanlarda da asılan şey yapan, hani o yürüyen insanlar oluyor bana. Abi reddediyorum. Direkt reddediyorum. Reddediyorum.
Hiç.
Hiç.
Sıfır.
Hiç. Sıfır.
Do we believe him? Yeah, just about as much as his friend seems to. Look at the look of disbelief. The red flags are everywhere with this guy. Naturally, Shekinah's friends are a little concerned about this relationship. Given her history of dating toxic men, and given the fact that she's been completely transparent with her friends about Sarper's womanizing ways, they all think that rushing into this, moving across the world to be with him, is a recipe for disaster.
I definitely worry that I'm making another mistake, just like all the other ones that I have with all the wrong guys I've chosen. But I'm trying to look on the positive side of this.
When her nearest and dearest find out that he's already trying to control her appearance, specifically her hair, her makeup, and even her weight, they understandably raise a few eyebrows. They're trying to stop her from getting hurt again. But it seems like a lost cause. She's just not ready to listen.
But the problem is it starts with one,
Yeah.
when I like the weight, then the makeup, then the hair, then it goes
Yeah.
to clothes, and it's too much.
Shekinah's heeding none of it. She's well and truly got her blinkers on. In fact, she's already making excuses for Sarper's nasty comments, for all of his controlling behaviour. But the fact that she's rushing to his defence instead of standing up for herself, instead of standing up for her own dignity, is very worrying, to say the least.
I'm training with a trainer here, and my goal has been to gain muscle and to get bigger. And since I met Sarper, he's likes the opposite aesthetics.
I mean, even Sarper's closest friend is sceptical. The fact that Sarper has to specify which girlfriend of his is moving to Turkey probably doesn't help. But his friend really doesn't believe that he can stay faithful. And I mean, come on. When your best friend is questioning your ability to stay loyal, that is really saying something.
Benim kız var ya bahsettim sana Shekinah. Amerikalı. Yaşamaya geliyor.
Açıkçası ne kadar uzun sürer o konuda çok ciddi soru işareti var kafamda. İlginç geliyor açıkçası.
But here we are. Both Shekinah and Sarper are left defending their love and trying to maintain that it is the real deal. Meanwhile, everyone, and I mean everyone, remains doubtful. In fact, her friend, who she also dated for a while, goes to extreme lengths to try and keep her in the country.
I really still do love you, and I just think that we should be together.
But Shekinah's not interested. She wants Sarper, as to do half the women in Istanbul, it sounds like.
I danced over 600 bachelorette parties. Half of the brides wanted to sleep with me. If they were beautiful, yeah, I slept with them.
So, can a leopard ever change its spots? Can a bad boy change his toxic traits? I'm betting not. I mean, after years of sleeping around, after dating 3 women in a day, you've got to assume it's going to be hard. Very hard. I mean, already he's struggling.
I'm faithful for 79 days. This is the longest duration that I am faithful to a woman. I mean, I have no sex with no one for 79 days.
79 days, so 2.5 months. Something's not quite adding up there. I thought they'd been together for 5 months. Now, I don't know when they decided to go exclusive, but Shekinah might want to check the math on that one. Either way, talking of sex, well, we don't know how many children Sarper might have running around Turkey. Shekinah has 1 child, but she's planning to leave her behind in boarding school. This is complicated slightly by her relationship with her ex-husband. And yes, that blonde is her from before. I know, wild, right?
She is the light of my life. Things between her dad and I didn't work out. We split up shortly after she was born.
So Shekinah sits down with the father of her child, a man 27 years her senior, to break the news to him. It's a weird dynamic. I don't know if it's just me, but honestly, I'm getting the vibe that this man is more of a father figure to her. It's like she's seeking his approval, which is something he's extremely reluctant to give in any way, shape or form.
Just feels right though. I feel like when it feels right, like how much time do you need?
Yeah, but you felt right about the guy before.
This just feels like a disaster waiting to happen, doesn't it? Given everything that we've seen so far, it really feels like Sarper is more into himself than he is into Shekinah. And I think that is going to cause some real tension. She's taking a big, big risk. It's definitely a dramatic decision.
She's going for a guy in a whole different country, a whole different culture, a whole different ways of life. But it's a dramatic decision.
And I'm here for the fallout.